I saw a photo of a lotus seed pod on my phone last week, completely by accident, scrolling for absolutely no reason, and my entire body reacted before my brain caught up. Skin crawling, stomach turning, a full body shiver over a picture of a plant. Not a spider, not a snake, a seed pod. I sat there for a second afterward, feeling genuinely ridiculous. Like, why did that just happen to me? Turns out that reaction might not be irrational at all. Ancient humans encountered a very specific visual pattern that showed up again and again on some of the most dangerous things they could possibly touch. And your brain may still be running the exact same threat detector today, just aimed at seed pods and honeycombs instead of the things it was actually built for. Which raises a question MS has been chasing for a while now. If a cluster of small holes can make a grown adult recoil without any conscious reason why, what exactly is your brain remembering that you are not? Hi, I'm Marin Still, and today, MS is opening the case file on trypophobia. MS is not going to tell you this fear is some ancient survival superpower you should be proud of, and MS is also not going to dismiss it as a meaningless glitch with zero explanation. MS is going to walk you through the actual visual science connecting your skin-crawling reaction to some of the most dangerous animals on the planet, and by the end of this, you are never going to look at a honeycomb the same way. Let's start with the reaction itself. Trypophobia is the intense discomfort, disgust, or fear some people feel when looking at clusters of small holes or bumps, things like lotus seed pods, honeycombs, coral, or clusters of insect eggs. It is worth being precise here. Most people who experience it describe disgust more than fear, a kind of skin-crawling revulsion, rather than the racing heart you get from something like a spider. For a long time, nobody had a solid explanation for why this specific pattern, of all patterns, triggers such a strong reaction in so many people. Stay with me, it gets weirder. In 2013, two researchers at the University of Essex, Jeff Cole and Arnold Wilkins, published a study in the journal Psychological Science that offered the first real evidence-based explanation. Cole and Wilkins started by analyzing the actual visual structure of trypophobic images, using the mathematical properties of the images themselves rather than just asking people how the pictures made them feel. They found that trypophobic images share a specific pattern, high-contrast clusters with a particular spacing and shape, a pattern that shows up disproportionately often in one very specific category of animal, some of the most venomous creatures on Earth. Animals like the blue-ringed octopus, which carries a neurotoxin powerful enough to kill a human with no antidote available, display bright, high-contrast circular patterns across their skin. Certain venomous snakes and other dangerous species show similar clustered, repeating visual patterns as part of their natural coloring. Cole and Wilkins' argument was not that people consciously recognize a blue-ringed octopus pattern when they see a lotus pod. It was that the visual system may have evolved a general-purpose alarm that fires on that specific mathematical signature, regardless of what object is actually producing it. Sound familiar? The theory is that your brain does not need to identify a threat by name to react to it. It just needs to recognize a pattern that has historically correlated with danger, and pull the emotional alarm first. Ask questions later. There is a second layer to this too. Some researchers studying trypophobia have pointed out that the same clustered hole pattern also shows up in another context that would have mattered enormously to your ancestors: skin infected with parasites or disease, clusters of lesions, pustules, or the kind of skin damage caused by certain parasitic infections create a visually similar repeating pattern. For an ancient human, deciding whether to get close to a sick group member or whether a strange skin condition on an animal meant it was safe to eat, a strong automatic disgust reaction to that specific visual pattern would have been a genuinely useful early warning system, one that operates faster than conscious reasoning ever could. Which brings us to whichever ancient human first crossed paths with something showing that exact pattern in the wild. Picture it. Someone out foraging comes across a cluster of tightly packed, symmetrical dark spots, maybe on an animal, maybe on a diseased plant or piece of rotting food, and their body reacts instantly. Skin crawling, stomach turning, an overwhelming urge to back away, before they have consciously identified what they are even looking at or why it bothers them so much. They do not need to know the word neurotoxin. They do not need a taxonomy of venomous species. Their visual system already did the calculation, and handed them the answer as a feeling, "Get away from that, now." That reaction was so useful, so fast, and so much better than working it out logically every single time, that it appears to have stuck around in a huge percentage of the population. Whether or not any individual person ever actually encountered a venomous octopus or a parasitic infection firsthand, the alarm system got built into the visual processing itself, inherited and ready to fire the moment the right pattern shows up, on anything, real danger or not. So the next time you catch yourself recoiling from a photo of a honeycomb or a lotus pod, feeling genuinely embarrassed about reacting to something so obviously harmless, remember what is actually happening underneath that reaction. You are not being irrational. You are running a visual pattern detector that spent an enormous amount of evolutionary time getting extremely good at one very specific job: spotting clustered, high-contrast danger signals before your conscious mind had time to catch up. It just never got updated with the memo that lotus pods do not, in fact, carry a lethal neurotoxin. As far as your oldest visual instincts are concerned, better safe than sorry, every single time. Hi, I'm Marin Still, and now you can never unknow this.